Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today's case takes us to Wisconsin. Clyman, Wisconsin. If there's any locals in chat, let me know if I'm saying it okay. Clyman? It looks like Clyman to me, and I've looked up how to pronounce it, so I think that's it. Clyman, Wisconsin, as well as Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, and Springville, Wisconsin. We're looking at this area today. Caroline K says, hello, I'm from Michigan. Hello, Caroline. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. Welcome to all my patrons, members, subscribers, any locals in chat, and any family and friends of this victim in this death investigation, which is a very sad update. Okay, so yeah, you guys are like, map time era. We're starting with map time, everyone, just so that we know where we are. If Wisconsin sounds familiar with true crime cases, remember Chandler, Halderson. Sure. That case took place in DeForest, Wisconsin. And then there's also Waukesha, Jesse Kershevsky, as well as Daryl Brooks. So we're in this sort of area. Here's Lake Winnebago. And so if I zoom out, okay, here's Milwaukee, Jeffrey Dahmer. And so we're looking at this area today. All right, so I've got a presentation for you, and we're going to look at a press conference as well from June 28th. So here we go. And if any more information comes out, of course, there's some paperwork maybe or things like that. Eventually, I think more information will come out. I'm sure there'll be an update, a press conference again, I'm sure in the future, because they are investigating this. They say it's a very active investigation is how the police described it. Okay, so please like and share so that others can also learn about this information. You just don't know who's going to see it. And if maybe they saw something or heard something and can call in a tip that could actually really help the case. So, Crystal Rasch is, well, they say it's a death investigation, very sadly. So she was 37 years old. She's separated from her husband, Zachariah Rasch, who's 42 years old. They got married in August of 2013. Now, here's the thing. Here's the first red flag already. Okay? There was a divorce hearing scheduled for August 8th of 2024. And June 11th was the last time anyone saw or heard from her. So that would be the first clue for you of motive. Okay, it sounds to me, and I'm speculating here based on everything that I've researched about the case, that it's another case of if I can't have you, no one else can. Like, there's no way that you're going to be divorcing me. It's a domestic violence case from what I'm reading as well. So that is very upsetting, of course. Objection Cake, thank you for being a member for 17 months. You said, caught many replays on my 9-hour bus ride home yesterday. You rock. Thank you so much for watching all those replays. I really appreciate it. So there was a divorce hearing scheduled, and she's been trying to divorce this man since 2019. That's a long time trying to get away from him. And every time he threatens abuse, every time there's temporary restraining orders and protective orders, she tried everything to get away from him. So she was last seen on June 11th of 2024 wearing a black Wisconsin Dells sweatshirt with a large letter D on the front. She was reported missing by her stepmother on June 23rd, which was a Sunday. Now, the whole time when I researched every single source that cites the criminal complaint, which none of them have posted so that we can read it, but never mind. All of them that talk about this criminal complaint say the stepmother. No one says mother-in-law, So it does sound like it's her stepmother. Just to be clear, because I was a little confused myself, like, okay, who's her stepmother? Is it at all the mother-in-law? And wow, yeah, you got to read like 100 things to even just get who's who and where was the car and what. So I've dug out everything I possibly can for you. So she was reported missing by her stepmother on Sunday, June 23rd. And there's a reason for that. Is because it sounds like the estranged husband told everyone different stories, like she's going there and used her Facebook to pretend to be her and all sorts of things. So no one really picked up between June 11th and June 23rd that she was missing until they all started talking to each other like, wait, have you heard from her? Have you heard? I thought she was with you. I thought this, right? So this happened in Clyman, Dodge County, Wisconsin. Law enforcement is searching and investigating. And when we watch the press conference, you'll see they're very clear about that. They're like, this is not a public search. They don't want volunteers to help them search because they want to protect the investigation. And now, as I say, it's not a missing persons case anymore. It's now a death investigation based on the evidence that they found so far that obviously they have to keep very close to the vest. So they've made it clear. Law enforcement is searching and investigating. This is now a death investigation, and the police ask, please don't contact the families, don't reach out for the story or for what they feel and think and everything. They've asked all media to please leave the family in peace. Okay, so if you have any information, if you know anything, if you saw anything, you can call the Dodge County Sheriff's Office. They've got I saw their general line is not the same as this one, so I had to double check that. But this is a line that they have established for tips for this case. 920-386-4590. Or you can also email sotipline@co.dodge.wi.us. I'll put everything in the description box for you as well, just in case you ever, if you're rewatching this or you want to, just look up the details. If you do know something, or if someone knows something, if you know anyone in Wisconsin, also send it to them. You just never know what anyone has heard via the grapevine or seen, anything like that. Okay, so the prime suspect, and he's been named the prime suspect, he's already been cuffed, but for other charges, okay, is Zachariah Scott Rasch. He's 42 years old. And you can see on the right-hand side is mugshot time. Not looking at the camera at all there. In 2018, Zachariah was charged with violating a domestic abuse temporary restraining order against him. When Crystal filed for divorce in 2019, Zachariah threatened abuse. Now, that is apparently what paperwork says. I wish I could get my hands on all this paperwork. It takes some time sometimes. But the point is, Crystal said that he was threatening abuse. But it sounds like this was already a DV relationship, which is, of course, why she wanted to divorce him, get away from him. Obviously, as you know, in every DV case, I share the DV distress signal. If you see someone doing this, it means they are asking for help. It's a DV distress signal, also used as a distress signal in, example, abduction cases, or if someone's really feeling like this is now something very sinister, like on a blind date or something, and they're like, oh crap, like, help get me out of here, right? So call the police. Or if you're in a coffee shop or something and you want to walk up to them and say, hey, I haven't seen you in so long, come over here and get more information. And then you're probably going to call the police. That's the DV distress signal. Please teach it to everyone you know, because, imagine if somebody's in a situation and they know the sign and do that, and then the people around them don't know what it is. So the more people that know, the better. Okay, so this guy. So she filed for divorce in 2019. Crystal had been separated from her husband officially since September 2023. They'd lived apart. He'd gone back to, it sounds like, to his mom's house, honestly. You know how these cases go. Those patterns also, these DV aggressors always run back to mama's house, isn't it? So he went somewhere he's got parcels of land that he's connected to, and his family lives where, they found him and arrested him and all of that. So she'd been living on her own since September of 2023, and she filed a restraining order against him. Now, he was arrested on June 26th of 2024, and he was charged with 7 counts of identity theft. Some sources say 8, but majority say 7 counts of identity theft because he used her credit cards without her consent after she was last seen, right? Jamie says, that's a hard 42. That is a hard 42, right? Look at him. Oh, my word. So each of the counts that Rasch has accuses him of using Crystal's debit card and credit card several times with surveillance video linking him to the purchases. So it's not just an accusation like we think he used it. They literally have surveillance footage of him buying really sinister things, which I'm sure you've seen from my thumbnail. $6,500 worth of cleaning supplies. Like, have you ever in your life? I mean, Brian Walsh, we heard that was, I think, $2,000 to $3,000 or something like that. And that sounded very hectic. $6,500 of what? What are you buying, bro? We're going to go into that. So he is currently being held at the Dodge County Detention Facility on a $250,000 bond. I believe Chazzy Boy, Chandler Halderson, is in the Dodge County Correctional Institute, which of course would be a prison. This is the jail. I don't know if this guy will end up there as well. Okay, so let's just see if there's anything on the right-hand side there. There's nothing really I could share from VineLink there with you. So objection cake is like $6,000. Yeah, $6,500. What? Of cleaning supplies. I've never heard of anything like that in my life. Like $6,500. Okay, so I really had to like check every source under the sun just to make sure. I'm like, are you sure there's not an extra zero? Like $6,000. And the police say $6,500. I'm like, what? Okay, Crystal's phone showed a phone call on June 10th at 10:55 a.m. from Adams County, where Zachariah's family lives, the last time anyone had any contact with her. So if we go back to the map, Springville is where he's connected to. It's Springville, Adams County in Wisconsin, okay? So Adams is right here, as you can see, and Springville is right here. So her phone, there was a phone call that happened there. I don't know who she called, if she even called anyone, if he just used her phone to make a call or something. I'm not too sure. They didn't specify that. But that was at 10:55 a.m. on June 10th. And that's where his family has some land, right? And so police say that Crystal was last seen on June 11th of 2024. But they didn't really want to get into that in the press conference, like exactly where she was seen and what. But they say with that specific top that we just went over. So Crystal's mother told authorities that she thought that she had traveled to Michigan to visit her brother. But then her brother said that she'd never arrived. So see, then they all started piecing together, wait, where is she? You know, because the stepmother eventually was like, okay, why am I seeing her vehicle but no sign of her? No one's heard from her. And then she spoke to her mother. The mother said, no, she went to Michigan. The brother said, no, she didn't. So it seems like, if I just fill in the blanks there, I'm speculating, but it seems like he used her Facebook account and phone to tell all these people, hey, I'm just quickly going, to Michigan, or, to set them all up to buy himself some time, is what it seems like, all right? So, oh yeah, Chris Watts is also there. They moved him, right? Oh my word, because Chris Watts and Chazzy Boy are in the same prison. So imagine if this guy ends up there with them. Oh my goodness. All right, so then, that was June 11th. I think, from everything I'm gathering, that the last time Crystal was seen was on June 10th. And I think the last time she was heard from was on June 11th via text message and these Facebook messages and things like that. Crystal's mother, right, said that she thought she traveled to Michigan to visit her brother. Her brother said she never arrived. Her family started receiving strange messages from her, in air quotes there, on Facebook, which they do not believe that she wrote. One of the messages said, I'm fine. I just need some time. I'm with some friends. Zach don't need to know where I am. And so apparently one of the attorneys in this case said, well, that was a red flag that she, not that she would, but that the message mentions Zach because they'd been separated since September. So if the message is Zach don't need to know where I am, yeah, they speculate that he wrote it. You know what I mean? They also said that the person purporting to be Crystal refused to accept any phone calls. She had 2 cell phones, one pinged on June 8th near Juneau in Dodge County, and the other on June 17th in Adams County. Remember, she was last seen or heard from June 11th. So on June 8th, for the one phone ping, that was probably her. That was probably her using a phone pinging in Juneau, Dodge County. But the other, on June 17th, it sounds to me like police believe she was already no longer with us, and her phone was pinging, which gave them some clues, of course, of where to start looking. So that's where Zachariah's family lives. Zachariah has connections to 2 parcels of land in Springville, Adams County. He's worked at Kraft Foods in Beaver Dam and K&S Manufacturing in, how do I say this? Is Ixonia? Inzonia. I don't know. This one is difficult. Okay, locals, let me know. So, or if you know. So on the right-hand side, you could see a picture of him also with Crystal when they were obviously still together. He still got it on his Facebook. I think this was posted in 2019. So that makes sense because that's when she started filing for divorce. But he hasn't updated his Facebook at all. Not publicly, at least. Due to the size of the area, a statewide request for assistance was made to other law enforcement agencies. So yes, I'm hoping the FBI is on it. They didn't really say that, but I would think so with all the cell phone pings and everything that they're researching and investigating now, right? On June 26th and June 27th, nearly 100 law enforcement officers from 28 different departments searched those parcels of land. Now, this case only really became public knowledge and clearly not widespread. I only just found this case today. I haven't seen much coverage on it. But only on June 28th, which is why, I was wondering, well, wait, why haven't we heard of this? And I'm like, oh, it's only been a week since the public has even known about this case because they've been keeping everything very low profile as they investigate, right? Until, of course, he was arrested. So then they could talk about it. Now, on June 23rd, her stepmother, who had not heard from her, noticed her car in the garage. So they said they wouldn't normally go to her house unannounced, you know? That's quite nice. I hate it if people just like arrive. Hello, surprise visit. No surprises. It sounds like Crystal didn't like surprise visits either because from what I read, they were like, well, we don't just go over there. We would normally call, arrange something, but no one had heard from her. So her stepmother decided to go and take a drive and go have a look. And she saw her car, some say in the driveway, some reports, some say in the garage. So I'm not sure exactly where. And so let's say in the garage, but there were no signs of Crystal. So then she called the police because she was really worried. Police say that one of Crystal's phone pings led to the discovery of a car at the home of one of Zachariah's relatives. And police say it had significant evidentiary value. Now, because of that, of course, that changed everything and it became a death investigation, which tells us that they probably have some forensic evidence and they're working on that part of the investigation. Because right now he's only been charged with obviously the 7 counts of identity theft for using her cards, $250,000 bond, but thankfully they could just keep him, behind bars while they investigate what they presume to be Crystal's death, aka murder. So then the vehicle has been taken in for processing at the Wisconsin State Crime Lab in Madison, I believe in Madison? Yeah, Madison, Wisconsin, in Madison. After looking into Crystal's financial transactions, police learned that Zachariah had spent about $6,000. As I say, then police were like, about $6,500. I'm like, $6,500? About $6,000 on cleaning supplies, including gloves, a portable air cooler, stain remover, several bottles of drain cleaner, the chemical nitrile gloves. I don't know if those are different gloves or not. Okay, these are some of the lists. Multiple cleaning supplies, a Hoover spot cleaner, turtle wax, OxyClean carpet cleaner, Ozium auto air freshener, OxyClean wipes, upholstery cleaner, and a whole bunch of stuff. This guy bought like so much. Can you imagine buying $6,500 of cleaning supplies? He also reportedly bought car and floor cleaners, seat covers, air fresheners, and gas for his car. Yes, Stefan, drain cleaner. And for many of these things they list, I'm sure there were several bottles of everything, but from all the reports I see, they all say several bottles of drain cleaner. And there's a liquid drain cleaner. Drain cleaner comes up a lot. So yeah, that is very concerning. Now, the car that allegedly is registered to him, that they tracked at the property where some of his relatives live, which I assume he was also staying there, was a 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse. It was registered to him, and that was the car found with significant evidentiary value. CPA, thank you so much. You said thank you, G and Mods. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Oh my goodness. This guy. Yeah, he went shopping, and now I know you want to know where. I know you want to know. And I also wanted to know. I had to really dig to find this because I'm like, we have to know. Is it Walmart or where is it? Where is it? Dodge County Police said that the purchases added up to over $6,500, all made in different stores miles apart. He thought he was being so smart, but then he was like using Crystal's credit and debit cards, and he was caught on surveillance. Like, this guy. Jana's like, he fit in an Eclipse? I don't know, man. Jennifer says, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Now, $6,500. Where? All different stores, miles apart. Beaver Dam, Watertown, Juneau. He went to Menards. Is that how I say that? Menards, Walmart, Quick Trips, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Ace Hardware. Remember that Chazzy boy, Chandler Halderson, also went to that farm and fleet. We saw surveillance of that. Remember that? Yeah, and Ace Hardware. Security footage obtained by investigators further revealed how Zachariah was alone when he made the purchases, all with Crystal's credit cards. See, some reports say debit, some say credit, but he used her cards, okay? All were made after her family says they last saw or heard from her on June 11th, along with multiple cash withdrawals as well. This guy was shopping up a storm. So many cleaning supplies, gas for his car, seat covers, air fresheners, the whole lot, as well as, of course, also making cash withdrawals. Like he was basically trying to empty her account. So then, investigators also found, now again, the cash withdrawals are extra, okay? They also found approximately $3,100 in cash at his home after they executed a search warrant, which was $1,800 of cash found in a dresser and $1,300 found in his wallet. Police questioned Zachariah. He told them that they have separate bank accounts and they do not authorize each other to use them. Right. He denied seeing Crystal and using any of her bank cards. Financial records showed a balance of $9,460.34 in Crystal's bank account on June 3rd. The balance had fallen to $2,907.75 by June 24th, indicating expenses or debts totaling $6,552.59 during that time frame. So between June 3rd and June 24th, he was swiping those cards. Obviously, she was last seen or heard from on June 11th. So really the timeline there would be probably between June 11th and June 24th. Look how much was spent, right? And Jeanette said, Menards is the best at Christmas. Okay. Lorraine says so many dollars spent on cleaning supplies, right? My goodness. Another dumb criminal. Thank goodness, right? So one of the purchases was at Menards on June 23rd. And the search warrant was then executed on June 26th. And apparently they also found several receipts of the purchases, which is why I say another dumb criminal too, for all the reasons. But like, you kept the receipts? You know what I mean? Like in the context of this, these criminals are so dumb. Like you wanna work this hard to get rid of, evidence, allegedly someone's body, but you keep all the receipts and they have you on surveillance and you're literally using your estranged wife's card. I mean, wow. Okay. Tosha, thank you so much. Ooh, Lisa says cleaning supplies he forgot to use. Right. So yes, he did go to Walmart, for those of you wondering, and many other stores, as we could see. When detectives showed him surveillance photos of him buying the drain cleaner, because of course, oh man, I would love to see that police interview. They were asking him, just chatting to him. So when last did you see Crystal? I haven't seen it. I'm just filling in the blanks. I'm visualizing this as I read things about it. I'm like, oh, they were asking him. Everything was chilled. And then they said, well, when he said he hadn't seen her. Was not authorized to use her cards. Didn't use her cards. But then later, because we know how these interrogations go, right? Later they're like, well, here's a picture of you literally using her card. Okay, we found receipts in your damn house. You were here alone using her card. Look at you on surveillance. So when he first looked at it, he said, ew, couldn't remember doing that. Obviously, we've seen that before as well. When they're like, I don't know, man. Can't even remember being there. But then he admitted, okay, he lied and he made the purchases. That's when police got a search warrant for his home and the vehicles on June 26th, and he was immediately arrested then. That was the same day as the police interview. He has a preliminary hearing on August 1st of 2024. So he's already been arraigned on those charges, but I suspect there'll be many more charges following this lengthy investigation. Okay, so August 1st is the next thing to mark in one's calendar or planner. While Zachariah Rasch is only charged with the identity theft, there is a connection to the missing person case. Dodge County Managing Attorney James Barkay said at Rasch's initial appearance, which was not this Friday, I think the Friday before, Anyone with information related to the location of Crystal Rasch can call the Dodge County Sheriff's Office tip line. There it is again, 920-386-4590, or you could also email. I'll put all the details in the description box as well. No details regarding the death investigation will be released to maintain the integrity of the investigation, as this is still a very active investigation, Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt said. If you wouldn't mind sharing, like and share with hashtag DV Awareness, that would be helpful as well. Black Widow, thank you for being a member for 18 months. Wow. Just a crazy Swift. He says, I remember a case where a guy got caught because he used his loyalty discount card. Oh my goodness. So sending condolences to Crystal's family and friends, because this is now a death investigation. So obviously they've got forensic evidence to say that publicly as well. I'm so sorry for your loss. This must be such a shock, because they all thought, they were worried. The stepmother was very worried, saying, wait, where is she? Why has no one heard from her? Let me take a drive there, because they knew about the DV, They knew that, whoa, this guy has threatened her in the past. He's making it very difficult for her to divorce him. And again, I say, the divorce hearing was scheduled for August 8th. So how ironic that he's actually going to be back in court on August 1st and probably facing way more severe charges then. You know what I mean? He wasn't even facing charges then. It was a divorce. A divorce hearing August 8th. Well, dude, you're going to be in court anyway, just for other things. Lady Grace said, I love this community. Thank you, G, for creating a safe place and mods for maintaining it. Thank you so much. Okay, so now I would like to show you. We'll go to this. I'll read you this quickly from the Dodge County Sheriff's Office, and then we'll look at the press conference, which is only about 14 minutes or so. Unfortunately, the media did not have microphones, so just warning you, we can't hear their questions. I was just like, wait, what? Oh, no. Black Widow said, so sorry to Crystal's family and friends. This must be absolutely devastating. What a shock. Missing person, now a death investigation. Updated information 070324. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office has had continuous investigation into the disappearance of Crystal Rasch. And through the investigation, it has been determined that this case is no longer a missing person investigation, but it has transitioned to a death investigation. No details regarding the death investigation will be released to maintain the integrity of the investigation, as this is still a very active investigation. Sheriff Dale Schmidt would like to once again remind the public that this is a private matter for the family, and they've asked to not be contacted for comment or statement. We thank the community for their support of the family, but they need time as they move through this very difficult grieving process. Further information will be made available to the public at the appropriate time. Okay, so this is all of the details that we just went over from the missing persons case as well, and everything else, right? This was, July 3rd. They said Zachariah Rasch made his initial appearance in court at 12:45, and probable cause was found by the court commissioner. So that's what that previous hearing was about, because they arrested him. Then he was going to have a hearing to see if there's probable cause to actually go ahead with this case, and they said there was. So now, I don't think I'll have to, if I have to boost it, I'll boost it for you, but let's just first see how this goes.
All set? All right. Good evening, everybody. We are here this evening really we want to share with the public.
Bit of an odd layout, this, but at least they put things on, they put a little presentation here and things like that. Shame, man, look how empty the room is. That's why I say no one really knew about it. You know, it's not like a giant press conference and all the media's there and everything. This case was very on the down low. So now we're just going to watch this one together here. By the way, this press conference took place on June 28th. Okay, I'll put a little banner up in a moment.
Look, some of the things that are going on with a search for a missing person that the Dodge County Sheriff's Office has been conducting for most of this week. And we want to share some information with all of you today to let you know really what's going on, where we're going from there, what we're asking from the public. So, you know me. Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt. I am here today to talk to you about Crystal Rasch. Crystal Rasch is a 37-year-old young lady from the Clyman area, and we are searching for her. We are doing everything we possibly can to try and locate her and bring her back home to her family. She was last seen wearing a black Dells sweatshirt, like a Wisconsin Dells, had a big D in the front with multiple pictures on it. We don't have a picture of that shirt for you, but that is what she was last seen. But that is the young lady that we are currently looking for. What do we know? Well, we know that Crystal was last seen on or about June 11th of this year, just a couple of weeks ago.
Quick pause just to say, love the bullet points. Don't you love it when they make a presentation for a press conference? I think this is amazing. Okay, here we go.
This past Sunday, June 23rd, Crystal was reported missing and reported missing to the Dodge County Sheriff's Office. We started looking into that, and our detectives and our patrol staff have been doing everything they can to try and find her as quickly as possible. Following leads, we've done multiple searches at various addresses here in Dodge County, and we've done extensive searches really everywhere that we get any kind of a lead, and that continues. We will continue all of those following leads as they come in, and ask for the public's patience as we continue to do all of those things. What are we doing? Well, This is a very extensive search, and it's a difficult search. Difficult because the last known address or location of her is difficult to pinpoint. The last time she was seen was within the last couple of weeks on June 11th, as we talked about, so we're going through a lot of information, trying to figure out exactly where she's been and what she's been up to. We've used a lot of different resources to try and locate Crystal. Those resources include law enforcement agencies here in Dodge County, not just the sheriff's office. We've had our partnering agencies come to assist us with this. We've also called in out-of-county resources, sheriff's offices, to also come in and assist. We've been doing a lot of forensic research into the electronic devices that she has had or individuals she may have been in contact with, and those continue to take place. We're still combing through a lot of data. As you know, our electronic devices, these things that we carry around with us, contain a lot of data, and we're looking through all of that and in hopes of getting some positive leads. And we've had a lot of leads, and we continue to follow those. So that's really what we're doing right now. We also have worked with outside agencies, Waukesha County, for example, the Department of Criminal Investigation in Madison, trying to work through some of those devices in hopes that we can get some actionable intel to locate her quickly. Interviews have been conducted with a lot of people. That's what our detectives do. They talk to people, and they've been doing that all week. We've interviewed individuals, family, friends, other contacts, other potential places that she's been. We've been spending a lot of time trying to find out where has she been, who has she been with, those types of things. We certainly are reviewing and monitoring social media regularly. We all know social media is the way of the world, and so there's a lot of data there, again, that we need to go through to track various pieces of information, tips that we get, those types of things.
They're so forward thinking. I love it. They're part of now, the future, the present and the future. Like, social media is a way of the world. Yes, it is. Because sometimes we see some police departments, they don't like that. But it just is. And of course, he means it in the context of looking into those Facebook messages that were being sent, allegedly, pretending to be her, like from her, which her family's like, I don't think that was from her. It didn't sound like her at all. That's not how she writes. That's not how she speaks. So I'm sure they looking into that, of where did that happen? What was the IP address? All of that, right? Also, Jem said in chat, I have a friend in a DV situation. I constantly worry something bad will happen, but she won't leave him. It's so sad. The very best advice that I could give is literally to have your friend listen to the Crime Analyst podcast, which is Laura Richards' podcast. She's also got a YouTube channel called Crime Analyst, but it's so educational. When I did Laura Richards' course it's a university accredited course on domestic violence, stalking, harassment, honor-based violence, right? And so when I did that, a lot of the homework was actually listening to the podcast. And one learns so much from it. And so even just listening to it, one starts to really pick up all the patterns and things. So sometimes I find that if you don't know how to tell a friend, about how dangerous it can really be, it helps to listen to, obviously, some true crime stories and listen to patterns and just listen to how dangerous it really can be. Because unfortunately, we who watch true crime a lot, we know the stats. We know how it goes sometimes, right? It takes sometimes, mostly statistically up to 7 times for victims of domestic violence to leave their abusers. And oftentimes, because then it's not like, and then successfully the 7th time they've left. Well, sometimes it's homicide, sometimes it ends in homicide, which is so scary. So that would be my advice. If anyone is wondering, if you feel like, how do I tell this person, or if you just want to also educate yourself, the Crime Analyst podcast is very good. Lots of deep dives, lots of examples, lots of case studies as well, just a case.
And we have opened up our Emergency Operations Center to coordinate resources. This process, and I want to make that very clear, is not one we've got a couple deputies searching. This is a very exhaustive search. Our staff has been called in on overtime. Many of us have worked well into the night, overnight, and put in really long hours trying to figure out where Crystal went. We have our entire patrol division. If they're not working out on patrol and they're not at home sleeping, they're in here working to try and find Crystal as quickly as possible. And I want to make, so that's why we had to open up the Emergency Operations Center so that we can adequately manage all of that. What are we planning? We're going to continue searches. We put out a press release earlier today, letting individuals know, letting people in the community know, why are we out in their community? We have deputies, detectives, other law enforcement agencies searching properties, searching right-of-ways, searching various areas around the county, and we want the public to know what it is that we're doing. We will continue to do those types of things, but this is a law enforcement search. The law enforcement search is necessary for those things that I list up there. The search so that we can search based on the real-time information that's coming in. We constantly are getting new information, and we have to shift those resources quickly. It's easier to do that with law enforcement. We need to maintain the integrity of the investigation. We don't know how the investigation will come to conclusion, and as such, we need to have precautions in place to make sure we maintain chain of custody. We certainly are working very hard to bring her home, but we also recognize that the investigation could turn at any time, and we have to be prepared so that if there is a need to maintain any evidence, we can do so. And if we have volunteers or others assisting with those searches, we lose that ability to maintain that evidence for an investigation that might be needed. So very important that this investigation, these searches, be done in a coordinated manner with law enforcement. And we are bringing in law enforcement, like I said, from around the state to help us do that. So we really, I know people want to help. We'll get to that in a minute on how people can help, but law enforcement are going to be the ones that are going to be doing this search. Talked about some of those other things up there. We'll continue to do interviews with individuals who have information related to where Crystal might be, and we certainly are looking for individuals who might have that to come forward and help us out. And we're going to continue that analysis of electronic devices. We're not done with that. There's a lot of work to be done there, and hopefully that brings us more leads that we can locate her quickly. This is what we're asking of the community. This is important. Again, these are law enforcement searches. We are not looking for volunteers to assist. We have plenty of people to do the searches in the areas we need to search. But if you have information, there's 3 options up there for you to provide information to the Sheriff's Office. We have a tip line open, 920-386-4590 is our phone line. It will come into our tip takers. If for some reason they don't answer that phone, please leave a message. It will go to our tip takers so that we can follow up on that as quickly as possible. If you want to email a tip, so.tipline@co.dodge.wi.us. And as always, excuse me, you can always submit a tip on our Dodge County Sheriff's Office app on your Google or Apple store. Again, we are not asking for volunteers at this time to assist. We have plenty of resources to search the areas we need to search. Family contact. I know in these incidents, a lot of time, people want to contact the family. This is difficult for family members, as you can all imagine. I've never been in this situation, but I can tell you that families are struggling. They are asking, please do not contact them. Please don't reach out to them and try to get the story. We are in contact with them. If there's information to be shared from the families, we will do that. They need some privacy. They're working with us, and we are trying to do this as quickly as possible, so please respect their wishes. They are very appreciative of the support that the community has already shown on social media, so we certainly want to share that with you. We are providing absolutely every resource that we can. I just spoke with a family member about an hour and a half ago, obviously really struggling with this, but I've shared the countless hours and manpower, and no expense is going unspent here to bring her home as quickly as we can. And the last thing I really want to share with you all is that the search continues in hope that we can find Crystal alive and return her to our family. That is how we are operating. We are operating under that assumption that there is hope that she is alive and hopes of bringing her home. This is not a death investigation. We certainly are looking.
It is now. It's been upgraded since. This press conference was from June 28th of 2024, and now they say it's a death investigation, sadly.
At all avenues, but our hope is to bring her home, and that's what we want to convey to the community. Certainly taking all precautions and making sure we are ready to jump into a different investigation if we need to, but at this time we are still hopeful. So with that, I'm sorry there's not a ton of information we're able to share with you at this point, but I'm happy to answer a few questions if anybody has any.
Okay, so we've got 4 minutes left of this press conference. The questions, as I say, we can't really hear them, but we can hear the answers. And so at this point, just remember that Zachariah was arrested, that's the estranged husband, right, of Crystal, on June 26th. And that's after admitting, okay, made all those purchases. They were still gathering that, executing the search warrant, waiting for the results of that. So at the time of this press conference, it was a missing persons investigation. It's now a death investigation, and Crystal has not yet been found. They just said that they found significant evidentiary value, not only from all these purchases and all that shady behavior, but in the actual vehicle that they found near his relative's property, a vehicle registered to him. And we know he bought like seat covers and air fresheners and things for the car, as well as all the other stuff. So they said it sounds like the most evidence they found, significant evidentiary value evidence was found in his vehicle.
Excuse me.
Any physical or mental health concerns for her?
Certainly, there's no health concerns that we're aware of that we need to be concerned, like if she needs prescription medications or anything like that. I don't have any knowledge of any of that right now. Certainly, her physical well-being is in question because we don't know where she is, and so I couldn't say no. But as far as anything that the public needs to know or anything that she's missing in medications or anything like that, there's nothing there.
I see a lot of people are asking now, any kids? I also looked far and wide. I couldn't see any reports of her having any kids. So she's been married. She had been married to Zachariah since 2013, and she'd been trying to get away from him since 2019. There was already domestic violence in the relationship, what already dates back to about 2018. So I haven't found any reports of her having any kids.
I can't because I don't recall how that information came in. We received information, but I don't remember if it was anonymous or if somebody gave us that.
Say like exactly where she was last seen and what she was doing when she was last seen?
I can say that she was in public when she was last seen, and I'll leave that at that. She was in a public place, and we do have positive confirmation that she was there. Any other questions? All right.
Police kind of said it's kind of heavy searching around the Clyman area.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
It is. Yeah. Right now we are searching a lot of the more public areas in the Clyman area, and we've expanded out beyond some of the properties. We want to make sure that we cover any possibility, and so we have expanded that to areas that make sense based on the information that we have. I did have a question about putting up a drone and searching an area. That's certainly something that is a capability we have, but I don't want to just search an area with a drone just for the sake of searching it, because it's a kind of a needle in a haystack. We want to have actionable intelligence of this is an area where we might want to search, and so those are the types of things we are doing. If we have good intelligence that she was there, those are the areas that we're focusing on first. If we get to a point where we don't have any of that intelligence of following leads, then we might expand to some of those more needle in a haystack approaches, but I would like to go with the areas that have the most probability of yielding results that we can find her quickly. Good question. Any other questions? All right. I think every missing persons case that any agency had is always going to have differences. I don't know that I really want to comment in depth on that, other than I think the most unusual part is just the amount of time since she was last seen until reported missing. It's a little lengthy, but every missing person case is different, and I don't think you can really call one more unusual than the other. So. We are still looking into those. Not anything that I can share related to who she might have been with. All right. Thank you for coming and assisting us. And again, if anybody has any tips that they are able to present to us. Again, I refer you back to the tips that we had. The tip line that we had, I'll put it up here as I leave, the tip line, the email address, and of course our Sheriff's Office app where you can always put any kind of a tip together. All those tips are very helpful, and we appreciate the community's support as we continue to look for Crystal. Thank you, everybody.
Shame, man. Oh my goodness. So there was the press conference on June 28th. There hasn't been another one since, so I'll keep you posted if there is one. I wanted to show you Laura's website. It's crimeanalyst.com. Okay, just because I mentioned Laura Richards, she is an expert with lots of credentials. But what I can say briefly, expert at stalking, domestic violence, coercive control, honor-based violence, all of that. So this is crimeanalyst.com. And you can also learn about her courses and things from thelaurarichards.com. And she's a criminal behavioral analyst, okay? And if you go to About as well, you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot here. And her podcast is extremely useful to learn so much about domestic violence, about coercive control. I think that her training saves lives. That's what she also said about her training, but it does. You know, it might sound like a bold statement, but it literally saves lives. It's amazing. So go check it out. You can go to the episodes over here. You could also obviously find it on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. It's called Crime Analyst, and she's also got a YouTube channel. If you do go over there, say hi. Say you're a Grizzly and say hi. So it's always nice when the Grizzlies are there like, hi, Laura, with little bear emoji. So you can learn lots about Laura here. You can download all kinds of resources and things. Look there. There's resources. So my point is, if you have a friend that you know is in a situation and you just don't know quite how to tell them, you could maybe, do some research on here, tell them to check it out, or especially just listen to these podcasts. Just say, it's great, listen to this podcast because the patterns are all there. Laura is so educational. My goodness. Okay, so that's what we have on this case right now. That's all we have right now. And as you can hear, they're protecting the investigation. They're obviously also protecting the family and saying they are still investigating. It is now a death investigation. So even though Zachariah is currently on a $250,000 bond based on the identity theft charges, meaning that he used Crystal's card, it is a death investigation now. And I won't be surprised if we see more charges based on all the significant, evidence that they found in his vehicle and things like that. And yes, of course, he's innocent or proven guilty in a court of law, although those are, of course, legal matters. If we have an opinion that we think he looks pretty sus, then that's an opinion. But so he does look very shady to me, but of course, he's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Also, I saw some questions of someone had asked, do they have dates for when these purchases were made? They have a lot of receipts that they found from the search warrant at the house. So like this guy literally kept the receipts. They mentioned one already cited from the criminal complaint, which was from June 23rd at a Menards, I believe it was. He went to Walmart and Quick Trip and Menards and Farm and Fleet and all kinds of stores all over the place. So he thought he was being very smart. Clearly, if I speculate, it seems like he went all over the place to buy $6,500 worth of cleaning supplies at all different stores, but yet they found the receipts, they found all kinds of surveillance footage, all sorts of things. So this investigation, I'm sure they're working very hard behind the scenes. And normally we know if they go quite quiet, I mean, it's only been a week now that they've been quiet since that first press conference. Oh, we know they're getting all those ducks in a row, Ryan. Also, for those that sometimes say, because Crystal had a temporary restraining order and a protective order and things like that, sometimes people will say, well, that doesn't help. Now the thing is, we know statistically it doesn't seem to help. However, it does sometimes also save lives because it's very much a part of the legal process. If one doesn't file those temporary restraining orders, protective orders and things, the police can't do anything. So if you find yourself or if someone finds themselves in a situation, never be discouraged to actually pursue restraining orders, protective orders, whatever you need to do to protect yourself and to get out safely, because it could very well save your life. It's really a fight for survival with these DV aggressors, as we've seen. But there is hope that you can get out. And there is hope that you can get out safely and that the police will help you. But they're going to need some paperwork in order to help you. Otherwise, it's just an accusation or he said, she said. And as we know, these aggressors, they do the DARVO trick, right? Deny, attack, reverse victim offender. That's what DARVO stands for. And so they literally flip the script. When the police go out there, if there's no actual paperwork or trail or of evidence or things like that, these aggressors will literally manipulate the crap out of the situation so much that it gets confusing. Like, wait, who is the victim here? Who's the aggressor? I mean, we've seen that in Gabby Petito's case, which, by the way, Laura did the ultimate deep dive on. Like, I think there's 12 or 14 episodes, something like that. It's a deep, deep dive into that case, analyzing every aspect of it. It's really great. All right. Yeah, Pernille said, get the receipts. Yes, get the receipts. It's definitely very helpful. So never discourage people from getting temporary restraining orders or protective orders. They need to do whatever they can based on how the system works now to protect themselves. But Laura herself will say often, victims don't want paperwork. They want the abusers arrested. So she works very hard to change laws worldwide, and she's been successful at it, changing laws worldwide to actually get stalkers on the same registry as serial offenders, as, all kinds of sexual offenders, stalkers, DV aggressors. She wants them all in the same database, which makes sense. And there's laws that have changed worldwide for coercive control becoming illegal, which is great as well. So, okay, everyone, thank you so much. That's all I have for you for today. I will keep you posted on the case and, of course, many others. If you have any case suggestions to send to me, you can email me, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. If you want to share any information with me or correct anything, if you're family and you want to reach out, you can also email me. I keep all my sources 100% anonymous, unless someone is literally like, please say my name, like loud. Okay, I would still probably advise against it because it's the internet, but I generally keep all my sources anonymous. So you're welcome to email me. Thank you so much, mods. Thank you so much, everyone. I wish you all a wonderful evening ahead. Please stay safe. Look after yourself and your mental health. And I will see you very soon. Lee says, can we see the kitties? They're all on Patreon. If you want to see the cats, you got to go to Patreon. It's only $1 for a month, and you get lots of things over there. Voice clips, videos behind the scenes, cats, everything, okay? All the grizzlies that are on there. We all share our pet pictures. It's amazing. And now in the outro, you'll see the cats as well. Okay, everyone, stay safe. Bye.